स्वामी शिक्षण प्रसारक मंडळ, Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, heartily greets all the honorable dignitaries and participants here on the virtual dais for the series of national and international webinars. Today's webinar is national webinar. The topic of today's national webinar is aspects of emotional intelligence. As you know very well, the college has been running a long mega series of national and international webinars. The webinar series was started on the occasion of the Golden Jubilee year of the institution. Women dignity and environmental conservation. The objectives of webinar series are to give and take knowledge, to enrich knowledge, and to have discussions, question answer sessions among the intellectuals to find out answers and solutions to problems so that these can help the individuals, the society and the nation. The webinar series is becoming very successful under the academic leadership of the chief organizer and chairperson of beginning of today's national webinar. I welcome him as the chairperson of this webinar. Today I am very happy to announce here that we have the honorable dignitary and keynote speaker, Miss Miral Kothari ma'am from Rajkot, Gujrat. She is going to deliver speech on the topic aspects of emotional intelligence. On this virtual dais, on behalf of organizing committee of Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, I heartily welcome you ma'am as an invited speaker. I also welcome all honorable organizing committee members, including Vice Principal Dr. S.D. Misal sir, Junior College Supervisor Ravindra Karanje sir, MCVC Supervisor Praveen Udge sir, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Sanjay Kale sir, Dr. Anita Dole ma'am, Dr. Sudhir Garad sir, Ambadas Khillare sir, Dr. Patwari sir and Dr. Wadkar sir. We all have come together here to listen the keynote speech by the speaker. But before that, I request Dr. Anita Dole ma'am to introduce today's chief guest and keynote speaker. Please ma'am, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. You are welcome to this grand national and international webinar series. On occasion of Golden Jubilee year of the college, Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa has organized a wonderful grand knowledge sharing webinar series with the aim of women empowerment and women dignity. So, I would like to thank respected Principal Dr. Bedkar MM for giving me this opportunity to introduce a resource person on this virtual platform. Many special thanks goes to all the respected organizing committee members and very big thanks to all the respected participants. Those are joining daily from all over India and abroad also. So it's my pleasure. I am here to introduce today's keynote speaker, Honorable Miss Miral Kothari ma'am from Rajkot, Gujrat. Completed Master of Computer Application from Saurashtra University, Rajkot from Gujrat. She achieved certifications like Programming in C, DB2, emotional intelligence, Python programming, professional development in database using PL or SQL. She has delivered special sessions on value education, emotional intelligence, human values in higher education. She has authored articles in international journal on data mining in pharmacovigilance. She has authored number of books with titles like Data Structure using C, Python, Programming in C, Networking, Search Engine Optimization, etc. She has work experience at Modi School, Rajkot from Gujrat. She has given the lectures on IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, personal and career counseling. So after this introduction, I would like to request today's keynote speaker, Honorable Miss Miral ma'am. Please start your presentation. Thank you. Welcome ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes ma'am.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for sparing some time to listen to me and my thoughts. Here I would like to share my screen first. Yes, so first if we can see on the screen, that there is a child trying to walk and he is being assisted by his mother. Generally we have seen or observed all these things, that whenever a child starts learning to walk, he generally needs the support or is being assisted by his parents. But as soon as he grows up, he soon become independent and starts working on his own. If we move further, when he grows up and starts going to school, he is again being assisted and guided by his parents. Like parents used to pick and drop the child to school, and as he grows up again, he can start going to school on his own, like on bicycle or using any other medium. In the same manner, generally, I think this is the tendency of each and every child, that I will grow up and I will start earning on my own, and I would not need to ask to my parents for any kind of money or financial assistance. So these things are so common in our life, that we grow up day by day, and that is what we call growth. We all know that each and every day we grow up biologically, we grow up mentally, like our brain also develops day by day. We grow up financially. That means we do not rely for money on anyone else, and we start earning. In the same manner, we also grow up socially. That means when we were child, we used to visit those people who were in contact with our parents. But as we grow up, we generally make our own circle, our own friends. We make a list, and many people comes and goes from that list. Like we decide to whom we will talk, to whom we will keep relation, and with whom we will break our relation. So that is our social development. So my question is, if we grow up by all the aspects, then why the most significant aspect is ignored or has kept insignificance, and that is emotional independence or emotional growth. Why we don't provide enough attention to this aspect of our life, which is actually the base of all this growth. So here, I, Miral Kothari, introduce my today's topic all about achieving emotional independence. Try it's easy. And believe me, I have gone through this journey, and that's why I felt like delivering some sessions on this and make others also emotionally independent. So let's start. First of all, what is independence? I know we all are intellectual people, and we can define independence as freedom or liberty of something, or we can do whatever we want, right? That we call independence. But here I would like to throw some light on my different perspective. Like I evaluate independence as a person who is having high intelligence. That means we can call a person independent if he is highly intelligent. Now the question may arise in your mind that what is the connection between intelligence and independence? Well, we'll soon come on that point. But let me give you the second perspective, that is knowledge of quotient. So a person can be independent if he is highly intelligent and also has good knowledge of quotient. Now let's explore this both perspective one by one. If we talk about intelligence, then I can define it as ability to solve something. For instance, in our day-to-day life, we might have seen kids who are operating smartphones, and many times it happens that they are aware with the features that we even don't know. Like we are this much grown up, we are this much technological, or we have learned lot of things in this many years. But then also, we are lacking behind somewhere in the features of a smartphone, and that kids can easily operate the smartphone. At that time, we are used to it that nowadays the kids are becoming very intelligent. Um, Even the second example can be when a person can solve some complicated issue or complicated problem. For instance, a mathematical problem or some complex chemical combination. At that time, we say that this person is very intelligent, right? And the second thing is ability to understand something. A person is able to understand that he is not aware with and can easily understand. We can say that the person is that person is independent or intelligent. For instance, I am a person with commerce background, and I have no connection with space science or rocket science. But at this moment, if someone comes and explains me some basic concept of space science or rocket science, then I would be able to understand it. So I can call myself intelligent. So this is my basic definition or idea regarding intelligence. That a person is intelligent only if he is able to solve something or he is able to understand something. Now, when we talk about intelligence, the very next word comes in our mind is intelligence quotient. That means IQ. We have already talked about what is intelligence. But the question is, what is quotient? Like we have heard a number of times that IQ is the measurement of intelligence. How much a person is intelligent can be told by the looking at the IQ quality or IQ number of that particular person. But I have different perspective for quotient also. What is a quotient? Well, very basic mathematical division. 12 divided by 4. I know, we all know the answer, that it is 3, right? But actually, the 3 is not the answer. The main thing is how much P we need to make 12. And that is the answer, that 4. We call 4 as quotient. And that's why we can define it as quantity of effort. Like to make 12, how much trees we need? We need 4, right? So if we know that we need 4 trees to make 12, then that means we know the quotient. We know how much quantity we need to achieve a particular destination or a goal. So quotient is quantity of effort. Now back to our original slide, that is a person can be called independent if he is having good high intelligence and also a good knowledge of quotient. Like he is aware that to solve any problem, how much effort he needs to put. Right? So let's move to or let's get connected to our original topic, emotional independence. Now we already know that independence is ability to solve something. If we can deal with emotions very nicely then we can become emotionally independent. So my first point is, when we know how to handle a situation, generally, when in a situation, we become emotional. And then we stop thinking by all the perspectives. We simply focus on our own emotions and decide accordingly. So we can become emotionally independent when we know how to handle a particular situation that is either totally in favor of us or in totally opposite of us. The second point can be how to manage our emotions. Like we can be emotionally independent if we know how to manage our emotions. For example, I don't mean that we cannot get angry, but yes, if we learn how to control that anger or how to manage that anger, then it can be called as emotional independence. And my third point is how much effort we need to put to handle it. And that means when we are in a situation, we are emotionally hurt or in high level of emotion, but we know how much effort we need to handle a particular situation or how to control our emotion, then we can achieve emotional independence. So let's explore the first word, emotion. What is emotion? Well, the simple definition is feeling. Like whatever we feel, we say that they are called emotions. But according to me, emotion is expression of motion. Expression of motion means leave word expression, and if we focus on motion, motion means movement. And when our brain has some kind of movement in its neurological nerves and all, at that time we can say that we become emotion or we can feel that particular emotion. And when we express it in physical words or in front of someone, at that time we say that we are expressing our emotion. So this is how our brain works. Like on each and every second, at each and every minute, in each and every moment, our brain state changes. We get one or another thought on each and every second, and this can lose our focus. Like if I talk about this particular webinar, there are chances that someone of us might have lost their focus from my talk, uh, either thinking about past or thinking about future. Past can be 1 hour prior to this session or future can be 1 hour after this session. It can be, you might have thought that, oh, at 8:30 I have meeting, I have already scheduled a meeting. Or you might have thought that what my boss has done today with me at morning. So you may be drawn in that thought process and you may have lost that focus. It is just because your brain might have given less importance as compared to that particular topic. So let's get connected again. And these are the most common emotions that we may face in our day-to-day life. That can be angry, sad, excited, surprised, happy, unhappy. And you people can easily answer that what are the most frequent emotions in our life. Like in our day-to-day life, we generally get angry very fast or happy. Sometimes we become excited and surprised. And yes, the second frequent emotion is sadness. Like even if a simple task is not done and we get disappointed or sad, we don't get happy that much frequently. For instance, if I have something to do with bank, like I have to deposit one check in bank, and if I visit the bank and that is closed due to lunch hour or the working hours are over, then I will become disappointed that, oh, I tried a lot of things and after a lot of efforts, after a lot of assessments, I came to bank and now it is closed. But similarly, I won't get happy when my task is done in one go. That means if I go to bank and my check is deposited, and it won't give me any kind of happiness. I will immediately start thinking about the second task or second responsibility. So this is the thing that we can't balance our emotions. Some emotions are already leading our life and some emotions are lagging behind. So this is the main purpose of our this session, that how to control our emotions and how to become emotionally independent. So the thing is, when does our emotion feel? It can be changed in two manners. Like it can be negative or it can be positive also. So let's first talk about negative emotions. Well, generally, when there are changes in situation, our emotions change. For instance, um, we all have connection or good vibe with the place where we are working. And there would be definitely a particular place where we are sitting every day. We have good connection with that particular table, chair, cupboard, or the people surrounding us. But if one fine day we go to office and we come to know that a place is changed. Now what would be the state of our mind? If we are ready to accept it on the very next moment, that means, yeah, fine, where's my stuff and where I need to be. If this is your next question, then you are emotionally independent. That means situation can't affect you. But if the question arises in your mind, why this happened? What did what kind of wrong thing I've done so that my boss is changing my place? Anything like that. So this is the thing that situation changes, we may react negatively. But if we explore it more deeply, then the situation is changing, but it is unexpected. Like sometimes changes are expected, expected, it can become easy forecast. But when there are unexpected situations, at that time we can react negatively. Unexpected situation means you were not aware that your place is going to change or your place is going to be changed in office. At that time you can react negatively. But let me add one more point, and that is unacceptable situations. Unacceptable means your place is changed at somewhere and you come to know that, oh, that is the corner that you don't like the most in the whole office. Even you are aware that it does not have good ventilation, or you are aware that the persons or people sitting around there are the people face of whom you don't like to see even in the whole day. So you dislike the people around you, or you are aware that that place is not comfortable to you. At that time the situation becomes unacceptable. That means we are able to cross the first stage, that means changes in situation. We are able to cross the second stage, unexpected situation. But the things become worse when there are unacceptable situations. At that time, it is our examination. Like we should control our emotions and we have to behave properly, we have to react properly. This was all about negative emotions. Now, when does it change positively? Obviously, it is opposite of those things. When changes in situation, but they are expected, or they are unexpected, but they are acceptable situations. For instance, one fine morning you go to office and your boss is saying that you are being assigned a new cabin, a new personal office. Okay, great. The situation was expected because you were expecting promotion. But the thing which was unexpected was new cabin. But it is acceptable situation because you are feeling more comfort over there, or you have already thought in mind that this is a luxury that I should achieve in the office. So at that time our brain will give positive response. We may become happy, we may become excited, we may start sharing this thing with other people. Okay. So let's switch to a new topic, that is actually do they really matter? Like if emotions change, are they going to affect our real life? If yes, then let me show you something. Here is a scene from Bahubali movie. You people might have seen this. This is a scene when Bahubali is rescuing his mother Devsena, and he is quite capable to fight against lot of people. And here I am directly playing this.
Sound not audible, madam.
Okay, sorry, the sound is not audible, I guess. Just a minute.
सर साउंड नहीं आ रहा। Just to explain commentary behind that, madam. Just to explain the commentary, because this app doesn't support for audio, sound of video, so you just explain the story behind that. You just explain story and theme of that scene so that everyone understand. Let us unmute yourself and try to speak. You are muted, ma'am.
Hello?
Get yourself. Yes,
Hello?
now you are audible. Okay.
Yes. Just let me rewind a little bit. Okay, so the story was going like that. The Bahubali was rescuing, and he was brave enough to fight against lot of soldiers. And here is going out of the palace. But if we see in this scene, when Bahubali gets diverted to his mother, like he is drawn in some emotion, and here he is losing his focus and met an accident. So this is where the emotion plays role. So yes, our question was, do the emotions really matter? So yes, they matter because it can affect our decision, it can affect our focus, or it can divert or distract our mind to any other matter, and by that we can lose the lead or we can lose the focus. So let's talk about how it can affect our focus. Now, if we don't talk about driving something, but let's talk about reading. If we are reading something and suddenly we recall a particular moment where we were insulted or we were scolded or something happened that we did not like, at that time we may lose our focus from our reading and we may start something thinking about that particular situation. It can also affect our decision power. Like, for instance, we went for shopping and we were deciding what things to buy and we were in little bit confusion. But at that moment, if a particular call comes that can create pressure on our things, or for instance, at our home they are calling us back immediately as something bad has happened, then it can change our emotional phase of our mind and we may lose focus again. We will either choose wrong thing from that particular option, or we will leave the shopping and will move to the home. A third thing is we can give only what we have, and so we need to feel the same. For instance, if today I need to scold someone, then I have to first feel anger in myself. I have to uh, input anger in my each and every body part, and at that time I would be able to show my anger to someone else. In the same manner, if I want to convey happiness to someone else, at that time I should be happy at that time. Then and then only I would be able to convey my happiness, or I would be able to spread the happiness to other person. It is a general rule, right? So yes, emotion matters. You cannot be sad and spread happiness, or you cannot be happy and spread anger. So whatever you want to spread, you have to feel that. And whenever you are feeling something, it is definite that you will pass the same thing to other person. Right? So what can be the major effects of anger? Very first thing is, it is the most frequent. Like if we recall the whole day, then we might have become more angry as compared to happiness or sad. Even in today day-to-day life or this fast hectic life, we get angry when someone hits our vehicle, or we don't get turn in getting into elevator, or when we don't get cab, we become angry. Right? So this is the most frequent emotion that we generally face in our day-to-day life. Reason can be others' mistakes in most of the cases. Like if we observe, then we generally get
आवाज येत नाही मॅडम. हॅलो, आवाज येत नाही.
Ma'am, voice is not coming.
Your sound is not audible, madam. You are not audible, madam. You may rejoin. You are not audible. सर माझा कॅमेरा ऑन होत नाही. त्यांना इशारा करून तर सांगा कोणी कानाला हात लावून, कारण माझा कॅमेराच ऑन होत नाही आज.
हॅलो मॅम, साऊंड इशू.
You just open the camera. I am can't able to open my camera, so you can give symbol of not hearing. She is continuous talking. Give some signals of not hearing, because my camera is not working. Otherwise, I will give.
Ma'am, we are not listening you.
If you give some signal to her by doing camera on, then she will understood. Otherwise, I will phone her.
नहीं कर पा रहा है, कृपया कुछ समय पश्चात प्रयास करें. તમે જે વ્યક્તિનો સંપર્ક કરવાનો પ્રયાસ કરી રહ્યા છો એ આ સમયે આપનો કોલ લઈ શકતા નથી. કૃપા કરી થોડા સમય પછી आपण ज्या व्यक्तीस कॉल करीत आहात ती व्यक्ती उत्तर देत नाही. कृपया थोड्या वेळानंतर पुन्हा प्रयत्न करा. आप जिस व्यक्ति को कॉल कर रहे हैं वह उत्तर नहीं. The person you're calling is not answering. Please try later.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
You please rejoin. You are not audible from so many time. You can rejoin and conclude it. Okay. Just wait. She is going to join within 1 second.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Okay. Can you please just tell me from where I became unaudible? From this video, right?
Again, you feel audible.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay, fine. Sorry everyone for some technical glitch. I was out of the meeting, but let me rejoin the thread. In previous slide we discussed that how Bahubali lost focus and Tuesday became emotional, and that's why he lost focus from the driving and he met an accident. So let's come back to this point. It can affect our focus. no matter whether we are driving or not. For instance, even if we are reading something, and at that time also, if we get a thought about what is next to be done, or something happened in past, like to this morning my boss scolded me, immediately my focus will be lost from my reading, and I will start thinking of that particular event. The second effect can be, it can affect our decision power. Suppose we went for shopping and we were confused with two choices, and we were just about to decide that what thing to buy. At that time, we get a call from home and they are calling us immediately back to home. Immediately our mind will start thinking that what might have happened or something like that. And we will not be able to decide which thing to buy. Or sometimes we may choose the wrong thing and we can come back to home. The third thing can be, we can give only what we have and don't need to feel that. Like, we cannot be angry while we make happy. If I want to show my anger to some people, then definitely I need to feel anger in my whole body, and at that time only I can show my anger to someone else. In the same manner, if happiness is that, like I want to pass my happiness, I want to share my happiness to my colleagues. At that time, I also need to feel the same kind of happiness, then only I can pass. So the thing is, you will pass only what you feel. So it is suggested that always feel better feeling so that you don't pass or don't react to any situation immediately. Now let's discuss some effects of each and every emotion. The very first is anger. The most frequent emotion that appears in our day-to-day life. Like we become angry for every minor matter that is either unexpected or it is not as per our condition. For instance, if you have asked your junior to complete a task and he has not completed that particular task due to one or other reason, you can become angry, right? The reason can be others' mistakes. In most of the cases, we blame others or we become angry when someone has done something wrong. Generally, we don't become angry on our mistake. We only become angry at others' mistake or others' wrong action. Right? The third thing is anger can harm us internally and the other person externally. Even it is an observation or it is a survey that during anger, people damages external properties more, like throwing glasses or smashing the doors or throwing things here and there. These all things are the reaction of anger. And this is the only way where we can express anger. And the side effect of anger can be, it can spoil mood, it can spoil situation, or it can spoil relation. Like if there is a party going on and a person in the party becomes angry, at that time he can spoil the whole situation, whole party. Or it can spoil relation. Like if two persons are in a relation and due to other third frustration, they are arguing with each other and they are angry on each other, they will spoil their relation. There will be less warmth between them if the anger continues. Now the second emotion is hurry. Hurry is the emotion that is faced in our day-to-day life very frequent. But the reason can be always others or sometimes lack of planning. For instance, if I need to do some task at 8 o'clock or I have to reach somewhere at 8 o'clock, then it should be planned that I should leave my place at 20 minutes before or 30 minutes before by counting the commute timings and transportation timings, etc. Or we can face hurry due to others when we are dependent on others for some or other reason. Like I have to collect a file from a person and that fellow has not completed that file till now and I need to hurry for my job or my task. It can also harm us internally as well as externally. Internally, as it can spoil our thoughts, it can change our mood, and externally, because in rush we can make some mistakes. Like if in hurry I'm driving, then there are chances that I can meet some accident or I can hit someone. Or sometimes we can, if we are cooking something in hurry, we can spread our stuff here and there, right? And it can also spoil our mood and the whole situation. The third emotion is happiness. Like it is very less frequent. We don't get happy now and then. We need a very big reason or some important reason to get happiness. And reasons can be others or sometimes ourselves. It is very important to mark that how much time we can get happy for ourselves or due to ourselves. Like we do not appreciate ourselves when we achieve something or we complete even a small task successfully or on time. It can benefit internally and externally. Like it is a medical survey that if you are happy, your body secretes good hormones and it can give you good mood and good relation with others. And externally, because as you are happy, you will spread happiness, right? So it nourishes mood, situation, and relation. One more emotion, let's go through it. It is sadness or disappointment. It is also somewhat more frequent. Reason can be others or self. We can become sad for a minor reason. Even if the task is not done, we can become sad. If situation is not going as per our expectation, we can become sad. If somebody has not followed our orders, we can be disappointed. And if there are benefits of sadness, it can be internally for longer term and externally for short term. Because disappointment may create some good things. Like if you are disappointed from a situation, next time you will try to improve it. That's why I have written benefits. It can spoil our mood and situation. And we all are aware with the life of Lord Krishna and his wife, third wife, Jamvati. The first was Rukmani ji, then second was Satyabhama ji, and third is, I guess, Jamvati ji. Just forgive me if there is any mistake. So one Jamvati ji was blessed by a goddess, and the goddess asked them, "What do you want?" Jamvati was very fond of lot of gold, so she asked that, "Just give me a lot of gold there and make my whole room full of gold." Goddess said that, "Okay, think one more time." But Jamvati was so happy that she promised that, "Yes, take whatever you want. I'm ready to pay any cost, but yes, I want gold." And the goddess blessed her. But the cost was she cannot get the whole gold at that time. Instead, she had to wait for years and years to achieve that particular point. That means that goddess was going to bless her with lot of gold, but after lot of years. But in between, Jamvati was not allowed to touch gold. If she touches gold, it will disappear. Why it happened? Because she promised in happiness. Because she got happy that yes, I will get lot of gold, and that's why she promised that yes, take any good that you want, but just give me gold. So this can be the disadvantage of promising something in happiness. So we need to be emotionally independent. Like we should not promise anything when we are happy. The second is, don't reply when you are angry. That we all know that if we are angry, we can react in some unexpected way. That means if I'm angry with one reason and my younger sister comes and approaches me, I will react in anger and I may reply something wrong or I may harm her. So that's why we should not reply when we are angry. And third thing is, don't decide when you are sad. So again, sadness is an emotion and we should not decide anything when we are sad because if it is observed, then people decide to commit suicide when they are sad. Like if anyone is happy, he or she cannot commit suicide. If anyone is angry, he or she cannot commit suicide, or there are very less chances. But yes, in sadness, people can decide something wrong. Not suicide exactly, but decision can be wrong. So this is just a saying, don't decide when you are sad. So these are proven statements, and that's why we need to be emotionally independent so that we don't promise anything, we don't reply anything wrong, or we don't decide anything wrong. Right? Now, to become emotionally independent does not mean to be emotionless. We simply mean that we should deal with the situation in a better possible way. So, how to manage emotions? Well, very first and simple, it is don't react immediately. Hello.
Yes, continue,
Yes, we
ma'am.
need to manage emotions.
Yes, continue, continue. It was disturbance. I have closed it.
Okay. How we can manage our emotions? Well, very first thing, don't react immediately and take a pause. Think, analyze, and get convinced. That means if you are not okay with the situation, pause, think, evaluate each and every possible dimension that can be possible, or there are chances that you may think that yes, this can be the reason why that particular person has misbehaved with me, or why that particular person is in hurry, or why that particular person has made that mistake. For instance, if you assign some task to your junior and he has not completed, don't get angry. Evaluate where he was busy, what research can be done, whether he was on leave, whether he was mentally disturbed, then we should help him instead asking for a task. So, very simple step. Think, analyze all the dimensions, get convinced that yes, this was the reasonable reason that why he became late or why he has not completed the task, and ask him to complete the task. Another thing, after taking this step, ask yourself, are you satisfied with your decision? If yes, move on and start doing another task, start pursuing another responsibility. And if no, ask yourself, can you contribute anything to improve or change? If some situation is not in your favor, can you change something? Can you improve something? Let's take a first example when you are asked to change your place in your office. At that time, are you able to argue with your boss? Can you provide proper reason why both should not change your place? If yes, try it. If no, just accept the situation, make yourself comfortable with other place, and move on. If you can change something, implement your idea and move on. And if answer is still no, then there is no other choice. Simply calm yourself and move on. Yes, definitely. That my pure suggestion is you are allowed to express your anger. You are allowed to express your sadness. But the thing is, it should not create any harm to others. You should analyze the situation and take overview of the whole situation, why a particular situation has happened or why a particular phenomenon is happening. And after evaluating this, I can guarantee you that you would be able to calm down yourself, and you would be able to react properly, you would be able to live properly. So this was my end of my session. Thank you all of you for listening to me very patiently. And sorry for the technical glitch that came in between. I really did not know that I'm out of the meeting. And I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving me such an opportunity for speaking in front of dignitaries like you. Thank you so much. I'm closing my session here. You can ask me if you can discuss me with something.
Thank you, ma'am, for your very good speech on the significant topic. Now, after this keynote speech, I request participants, if you have any question or doubt, please ask.
Yes, I've got a question from David Singh.
जी मैम.
Yes, the question is, ma'am, do you see the lack of sensitivity in today's generation? If yes, what is the reason for this? Yes, I have observed lack of sensitivity in today's generation. As per my understanding, there are a few reasons. The first thing is hectic life schedule. Like they don't have time to feel something. If they are feeling some particular emotion, they are busy with something else. They get busy with something else immediately, and they have less time to dedicate to understand that particular situation. That's why I guess they are having less sensitivity because they are not able to spend enough time to feel that particular thing.
Thank you.
Is there any other question?
Hi,
Madam.
Prakash sir, and
Hello, this is Badiyuddin Ahmad from Hyderabad. Topic was very interesting, but thing is that these days the young generation has got no control over their emotions. Either it's positive emotions or negative emotions. So how to control them, whether it is teenagers or about teenagers? This is a big issue of this 21st century. Madam, can you highlight on that?
Yes, well, we should try to explain to teenagers that there is enough time for each and everything, and remain prepared for each and every kind of situation. We should explain to teenagers that just give a moment to a situation and analyze what are the chances that why this situation happened. For instance, if teenagers are reacting to us that, oh, mother has not cooked my favorite meal, then we should explain to teenagers that evaluate the situation. Why your mother has not cooked your favorite meal? Whether the ingredients were not available, whether she was busy, whether she was tired, or whether she was ill. I mean, there can be number of reasons. And if he is getting justification with that, okay, at that time, two things are not possible. If my mother is ill, she cannot cook. Then I guess he will not react next time when he is not getting favorite food. Instead, he will evaluate or he will ask his mother that why we haven't cooked.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else, please?
good evening, Dr. Prakash. Good evening, Dr. Betkar, and good evening, Mrinal. Mrinal, you have told a lot of things about the emotions, but the topic was emotional intelligence. That's why we used to talk or measure it through emotional quotient. A very simple term we use in the emotional intelligence is ability to understand, use, and manage our own emotions first. And then we relate it with the stress, we communicate effectively, we empathize with it, and then we overcome the challenges. That's the simple structured form of intelligence with emotions that is termed as emotional intelligence. That was the topic. You have talked so many topics in it, and you have emphasized on sadness, and you said that we have to analyze the situation. There are three domains which we go with when we go with the Bloom's taxonomy. And when the term came analysis, that comes under cognitive domain. And the topic was emotional intelligence. It means the affective domain is more, or you can say prominent in this case. So we may consider the 5 steps that Daniel has given. A lot of books I think you have gone through of Daniel also. He said that first thing is self-awareness, then self-regulation, then motivation, then empathy, and then we go with the social skills. But when we consider the Bloom taxonomy, it tells about the 5 simple steps of the emotional intelligence or the affective domain, that is the receiving phenomenon. What we are accepting, what we are receiving, what we are aware, what we are willing to hear, what we are selecting from our attention, that is the receiving phenomenon. And for these he has given certain words, and that is be dutiful, courteous, follow, acknowledge and ask. Means we have to respect and listen to others, and we have to listen for and remember the newly introduced people. And he said that is the receiving phenomena. Then he had given the respondent phenomena. That is the part of basic emotional intelligence. Respondent means the active participation. As everyone was listening, it was an active participation, but not the analysis. That is the attend and react to the particular phenomenon. That is learning outcome. And when we come to the learning, the second step is that we are going with the affective domain. It means we may emphasize compliance and respond according to our will, not analysis. As per the will, that is why the term has given emotional intelligence. Then third step came in the Bloom's taxonomy is valuing. Means the worth or the value of the person that attached to a particular person or the particular object or phenomenon or behavior. Means how much value you provide or how much commitment of yours is with that person or that belonging or anything that you are going with. Basically your commitment tells about valuing a subject or a person. How much you appreciate, cherish, treasure. Sometimes you appreciate your child, but you are not ready to appreciate your life partner even. It means how much value you provide each and every aspect. Then he said organization. Organization is the most important part of this emotional intelligence. How much or how you organize values into priorities. Now you have to keep these values under your priority category, contrasting the different values and with resolving the conflicts. Again, no analysis is there. Just you are flowing with the emotions and you are comparing, relating, synthesizing all the values which you have got or you have accepted the problem in the professional and ethical standards. And the last steps when we come into the Bloom's taxonomy, it has told us that internalize values, that is the characterization. Emotional intelligence comes or directly affect our characterization. जैसे हम कहते हैं ना nation character or the human character, means that is the value system that controls the behavior. The emotional intelligence is based on behavior or vice versa. Behavior is based upon the emotional intelligence. So the behavior is pervasive, consistent, and he has given a very important term over there, that is predictable. And most important characteristics of the instructional objectives means personal, social and emotional discrimination, displays, influences, modifies, how you qualify. This whole aspect is basically emotional intelligence rather than the aspect we were telling or you were telling in the last 50 minutes. They were mostly based upon the cognitive domain, and here we were talking about the affective domain with emotional intelligence. And as we all are aware, EQ is much higher respondent than the IQ. That is more important in our life rather than IQ. So that was the only suggestion. Just go with these researches, go with these projects, just study it and go with some action researches on this topic. Then we have lot of beautiful subjects on this topic, that is emotional intelligence. Thank you, Dr. Bedkar and Prakash, for giving me such a beautiful time. And Mrinal, you are so intelligent. But sometimes the researchers work a lot in our life rather than going through the lesson in just a simple way. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your very good addition. Now, after this, I would like to ask participants, is there any question, please? Very elaborate speech on the part of the keynote speaker and active participation from Jaivir Singh, Dr. Bajuddin sir and Supriti ma'am. So the question answer session was also fruitful. Now after this I request Chief Organizer and Chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal, for his concluding speech. Please sir, welcome.
Thank you, Professor Karad sir, and today's resource person Miral Madam. All the organizing team committee members and the active participants, Javier sir, Baduddin sir, Supriti madam, and all the present participants. Today we listen about the emotional intelligence, the very useful definition, and how we control our emotional intelligence, how it is affected, how we face few problems at that time, how it is diverted, our main aim. All these things are related to the intelligence, and all these points should be kept in mind to control our emotions like this. So today's resource person contributed for this topic. We are thankful from our organizing committee. Thank you to all. I think she is left, so there is no use to speak about this. Please continue with the Acha. Okay, madam. Are you listening, madam? I think there is problem in your headphone, because when you connect headphone to our system, then it will not do work. If the default system which is with your laptop, that's okay one. So unable to listen or unable to listen by us also. Okay, no problem. Now it's the concluding time. Our organizing team will say vote of thanks to you. The topic which you explained was very nice. All participants are happy with this. Thank you. Thank you.
Now I am here for vote of thanks. I would like to thank today's honorable keynote speaker, Miss Miral ma'am, who accepted the invitation and delivered very elaborative speech on the topic. It was very significant. All the factors of the speech were touched well so that we all can understand it very well. Ma'am, you have spared your precious time for us. So thank you on behalf of the organizing committee of webinar series Shri Kumarswami College Ausa. Welcome. I also thank Chief Organizer and Chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir, for his ambitious project of running hundreds of national and international webinars, through which we are getting knowledge related with different topics and fields, and through interactions we are getting lot of additions, answers and solutions. This will really help us in our individual lives and our fields. Thank you, sir. I thank participants all participants in general and active participants in particular for their contribution through their attendance, listening, questions, doubts, additions, opinions, suggestions, which are adding to our knowledge, and you are behind the success of this webinar series. So thank you participants. I thank Dr. Anita Dole ma'am for giving introduction of today's chief guest and keynote speaker. And now I request participants, feedback link is provided in the chat box. Please do not forget to fill it. We have your certificate. And at the end, with the permission of chief organizer, I announce here that today's webinar is over. Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.